I was never really afraid of public transportation until I caught the last bus home that night. It was late. I'd stayed at my cousin's place longer than I should have, and by the time I checked the time, it was past 1 a.m. I live in a small city, so late-night buses are rare. But there's one line, Route 103, that runs until 2 a.m. I'd never taken it before. But that night I had no choice. The bus arrived almost immediately after I got to the stop. It looked older than usual, slightly rusted near the wheel wells, and the headlights flickered like an old film projector. I hesitated before stepping on, but the driver didn't even acknowledge me. Just stared straight ahead, hand resting stiffly on the wheel. I tapped my card. No beep. No green light. Just silence. The driver didn't seem to care, so I walked past and sat near the middle. That's when I noticed it. The passengers. There were about 8 of them, all seated and facing forward, perfectly still. No talking. No phones. No blinking. Their heads moved in unison with the motion of the bus, but otherwise, they looked like mannequins dressed in old, outdated clothing. One woman wore a massive fur coat in the middle of summer. An older man clutched a leather suitcase with both hands, his face locked in a stiff grin. A teenage girl sat behind me, her eyes wide and glassy, lips parted like she was mid-breath but never finished it. I tried not to stare, but the silence was overwhelming. No engine hum. No wind. No city noise. Just the faint clicking of the turn signal as we approached the next stop. And then, the bus didn't stop. It passed by the blinking post and kept going. I leaned forward and asked, "Hey, aren't you stopping?" The driver didn't respond. Not even a flinch. I turned to the rest of the passengers. Still frozen. I stood up, slowly, trying not to panic. I walked toward the front, gripping the railing as I approached the driver's seat. That's when I saw it. The driver's hands weren't on the wheel anymore. They were resting stiffly at his sides. And the wheel was turning by itself. No noise. No resistance. It was like the bus had decided its own route. I turned around to leave, to go back to my seat and pretend nothing was happening when I noticed something else. The windows. The city was gone. There were no more buildings. No more lights. Just a dark, endless stretch of road, surrounded by trees that looked like they were leaning in, reaching toward us. The sky had turned an unnatural dark red, like it had been stuck in a photo negative. I ran to the back of the bus and tried the emergency exit. But I hit the glass. Nothing. Not even a sound from the impact. Then the teenage girl behind me spoke. Her voice was calm, robotic. "You can't get off until the last stop." I turned. She was staring at me now. Eyes no longer glassy, just hollow. Completely black. So were the others. Every head turned toward me, in perfect unison. I rushed back toward the front, screaming at the driver to stop. Nothing. And then the bus jerked violently, like it had hit something, but didn't slow down. I fell forward, smashing into the fare box. When I looked up, the driver was gone. Completely gone. No footsteps. No door sound. Just an empty seat. I backed away, now completely panicking. I stared at the console. The speedometer was broken. The gas gauge was spinning. I didn't know what to do. Then, one by one, the passengers began to rise. Not standing up, rising. Their feet didn't move. They just lifted upward in place, hovering inches above the ground. And then they started gliding toward me. I curled up in the corner by the back row, eyes shut, muttering anything that felt like a prayer. I don't remember what happened after that. When I woke up, I was lying on a sidewalk near my apartment. It was bright. Morning. The bus was gone. I thought it was a dream. A hallucination. But when I got home, I found a bus transfer slip tucked into my pocket. The time stamped 2:47 a.m. Route 103. I tried reporting it, but there's no record of a Route 103 anymore. The city says that line was discontinued 6 years ago. And ever since that night, I never take public transportation after dark. Because sometimes, the bus doesn't take you home. Sometimes, it takes you somewhere else.